Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Chi if you are new. If you are returning, hi, welcome back. I usually vlog, so this is a little bit different. I try to squeeze in a sit-down video per y'all's request every so often, so unless there is something y'all are requesting, I usually don't have sit-down videos like in mind, but you guys did request an updated Louis Vuitton collection, and I actually looked back on my other vlogs and just videos over the last, I think, 3 years of being on YouTube, and I've never done a full collection video. I've done an SLG collection, I've done two what's in my Neverfull, which I'll show you guys today, but I've never done an actual full collection. I guess I didn't really feel like I had much to show, but over the last 3, 4, I think even 5 years, I've had a few pieces that I've collected. Most of them have bought, actually all of them except for one have been bought in store, and I believe 1 or 2 I ordered online from the Louis Vuitton website with the help of an SA or a CA, however you want to say it, Sales Associate Client Advisor, and one has been bought pre-loved, and that's my newest one, which I'm really excited about to show you guys. But yeah, so I was going to start in order of when I first got everything, but it kind of throws everything for a loop, so I'm actually going to start with SLGs and then work my way up to agendas, toiletries, and then the bag. So the first SLG I'll go over is the key pouch. So this actually was one of the first items that I got from Louis Vuitton. My Neverfull was first, but we are actually at a close first right for those two. I got them kind of back to back, but I have this in the color Monogram, and it's so funny because looking at my collection now, I used to only really prefer damier ebene, so that was kind of where I had my starting ground. I was like, oh, Monogram's good for kind of smaller items that go inside of things, and looking at my collection now, there's damier ebene is kind of the oddball out, but this is the key pouch. I believe when I got this, they were abundant. I'm not sure how they are now in terms of wanting to get one. I don't know how scarce or plentiful they are in store or online. I really haven't checked. If you'll notice kind of throughout my collection, I don't really buy multiples of the same thing, so unless something happens to this key pouch, I won't buy another key pouch. I don't collect things in different colors like that. With shoes and things like that, maybe, but with things like this, no, I don't. I stick to kind of classic colors. One thing I like about Louis Vuitton is the hue of the colors, the browns, the tans, the gold. It's just really beautiful. I feel like because I am a neutral color wearing girl, it's nice to have that kind of play where it's not a simple, let's say, black bag or brown bag. It has some detailing to it where even if it's Monogram or damier ebene, there's a play on the pattern, which is really nice. So this is the first item that I have. I will hopefully am showing you guys as detailed shots as I can, but yeah, and usually what I have is my keys connected onto here. I try not to put keys that have the regular key shape to them, if that makes sense, but things like a car key or my apartment key, because it's like a fob, they don't hit the inside of the bag. So these I can actually leave out. I'll just throw this into my bag. But if it's like a regular key that looks like every key that kind of has like a sharper end, I will end up putting them into my key holder. This is my Louis Vuitton key holder, and it's the 6 key ring. So opening it up, I do have some keys in here, which honestly, I haven't really used this in a while just because I haven't really needed these extra keys. So I cannot remember. Yeah, honestly, I took some off. But anyway, this is my 6 key ring holder. I know they make it in the 4 key as well, but when I was deciding between the two, I figured it was just better to get the larger one just because if I need less keys, it would just look like this. And if I needed space for more keys, I would have that room without feeling like, oh, I should have got the bigger one. And that's kind of the running theme with me. Just get bigger. I feel like bigger sometimes is always better. Granted, I'm in Texas, so I might have like that mentality ingrained into me now, even though I'm not from here. But this is what it looks like fully opened. And even in this back pocket here, I didn't show you, it opens, if I can fit my fingers through, all the way through. So I've known some people to put cards back here, cash back here, any type of fob. When I used to have a 9-to-5 or an 8-to-5 corporate job and we had a fob to get into the building, I actually just kind of put it back here. And when I would walk up to the door, I was able to just take the back of this closed and hit it against the door and it opened. And I mean, it's the simple things, but I have this again in the Monogram print. And I will say with the Monogram, I was still very, you know, for smaller items inside of the bag, items for Monogram, and it started to grow on me after a few items. The next Louis Vuitton piece in my collection is the Pocket Agenda. I have the Pocket Agenda in Damier Ebene, and I've pretty much emptied it out because I actually do use this as a wallet. So when I was looking for a wallet, I know Louis Vuitton has a ton of wallets on their website that you can choose from that are actual wallets and not something you have to turn into a wallet. But I've never really been a big wallet girl, which is funny because I like big everything else. But for wallets, I used to honestly use my key pouch as a wallet for the most part. I would have my ID, my debit card, maybe like a $20 bill wrapped up in here, and with my keys, I could just run errands with this. And honestly, I still do sometimes. But this was just kind of perfect for everything. But as I transitioned into, I remember I would have, or I still have a checkbook. I don't carry it on my person anymore. But when I wanted to start carrying a checkbook on me, because I was writing checks, or I just wanted to, I cannot remember. But I wanted something that could fit a checkbook, and this actually can. If you put the back part of your check, that's the kind of cardboard particle, you can slide it into this area and have your checks lay over this way. So you can actually just kind of like write a check, rip it off, write a check, rip it off, and all you have to do is just open up your wallet. And then on this side, there's 3 little slots. And I actually just have, usually I just have my ID, debit card, maybe a credit card, and then insurance cards or just kind of like business cards for people's information. And then you can also fit cash in here. So it's a very versatile piece. And of course, it's a small pocket agenda. You could just use it as an agenda. I know some people that throw like lists in there. They just get inserts for a list so they can write a grocery list or jot down notes as they're on the go, which I tend to do a lot, but I'll do it in my phone. But it's a very versatile piece. So if you're kind of stuck between wanting a wallet but not wanting something that only functions as a wallet, check out the Pocket Agenda. I mean, just give it a chance, maybe go in store, play around with it, but it's very versatile. I really love this piece. I would say the only thing that I would change about it is that it's in Damier Ebene. I did, of course, get this early on. I am kind of going in order of when I got everything, which is really nice. But I will say, it's beautiful, I love it, but as Monogram has grown on me, I kind of wish this was in Monogram as well, but it's beautiful nonetheless. And again, I'm not really sure about availability of everything, but I will link everything that I'm showing down below. Certain things, I think you might have to call the hotline to see if they're restocking, when they're restocking. I used to do that. Now, not so much. Now, I'm not really. I have my online wish list, but I don't really have anything on the forefront of my mind that I'm like, I'm saving up for this, or this is my next thing. I don't really have that. I think what I try to do, obviously it's not always the case, but I try to buy things that I quote unquote need. The awful way to describe it, but if I'm kind of like, oh, I would like, let me say that, I would really like a nice cosmetics pouch. What would be a cosmetics pouch that you would want if you could? And that's kind of where I go with things. So I don't tend to just buy the new collections because they're out or because they're pretty. If I don't really have a need or a strong want for a use of the item, I won't buy it. And I think that just kind of helps. Of course, things change, just like with my agendas. As I've started to do more things digital, they have been used less, but they're still great pieces to have. And it's not to say that one day I won't want to go back to paper planning for anything, or that they won't become something else in my life. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to get rid of them. So the next piece I have, and every time I have to take a pause when I pick this up, is my MM agenda in Damier Ebene. This thing got me through college. This thing got me through college. I have, and honestly, these inserts are so old. I think they're from 2021. Yeah, 2021 inserts from, I don't even know. Oh, Cessavie. I love this paper company as well. There's a few, Cloth and Paper, Cessavie, 8 Lotus, The Line CA. Great paper companies. I'll actually link them all down below in case you guys want to check them out. But the inserts that I have in here are from Cessavie, but the ones I believe I was using in college were the Daily from Cessavie, I believe, or Cloth and Paper. And they just got me through college because I used to carry this agenda with me everywhere. I mean, it was in my backpack, my purse. I had my homework due dates in there. I had my test review dates, my tests, work schedule because I was working in college. This thing, yes, it's been through, I always say a lot, but it was just college, but still. It's been through some time with me, but this is the MM agenda in Damier Ebene. And again, this was an early on purchase. So of course the Damier Ebene was kind of forefront on my mind. The interior pockets right here, you have one right here, and I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little slots that you can put cards into. They're not big enough to put anything substantial, but you could put an ID in here or any business cards that you get from people or your own business cards. And then on the back side, you have this one big flat pocket right here, which you can slide, honestly, little paperwork, little things you fold up back here as well. And honestly, for the inserts, I'm actually going to show you. The one way I keep my rings and all of my agendas very fresh and new, I don't open them. So what I do is I actually just take my insert and I cut slits into the holes. And all you have to do then is just take your agenda. I would say the only reason you need to open it up is to put these in there, the little dividers. But even then you can cut them as well if you wanted to. But all you have to do then is just take your insert, and my agenda is really stuffed, so it might be a little difficult, but all you have to do is just kind of snap it in to place, and you can kind of hear it. There we go. Yeah, it's super thick, that's why it's hard. And then you can just flip, and it's super easy. I saw a lot of people doing that online when I was kind of YouTubing different agenda videos, and I thought, that's brilliant. You just don't have to open up your rings, and it keeps it fresh, it keeps them new, because I know that when people had this agenda and they were opening up their rings a lot to put in inserts, they had issues with the rings kind of splitting in the middle, which is just normal wear and tear. And I just didn't want to have to deal with that. So I figured, why not just try the slit method, and it ended up working. So I do that in all of my agendas. But yeah, this is my MM agenda. Like I said, I've had this for quite a while. I don't use it much at all now. I've been trying to think of another use for it, but since everything I do right now with work and my regular life is just digital, it's easier for me to do everything digital. So this hasn't gotten much use recently, but it's been so helpful in the past that I swear by this little thing. And it's the perfect size too. It's not too big, so it is, I think, comfortable for putting into a bag or backpack, for school, for work, for just daily grocery lists, any type of to-dos or any type of inserts that kind of gear towards your life. It can get a little heavy if it's full, but mine is, if you can see, mine's to the brim. So you don't always have to put as many inserts in. You can have it halfway full, 1/3, and it'll be lighter. If you're kind of like, this is too small for an agenda, it's just, it doesn't have as much room as you need, this might be a good option for you. Granted, the size difference is pretty big. This, I think, if you're thinking about one agenda to start with, I would go with the MM. I think it's a great starting agenda, or just a great agenda, period. The next thing I have is another agenda, and this was actually on my wish list for a very long time. It's the Louis Vuitton GM or large ring agenda in a monogram. This is when my monogram era started to kick in. This thing is full as well. This, I would say, is not the most travel friendly because it does get really heavy, but mine's kind of like a hot mess because this is kind of like my social media project planning agenda. So it's stuffed. If you can see this side, I'll show you the pockets. It has a front pocket right here, and then it has 2 fold pockets right here where you can put stuff in there, and I do have quite a bit in there. And then it has the 6 rings in the middle, and the inserts from here are scattered between Sesame, cloth and paper, the line, and 8 Lotus, just kind of like a mix of everything depending on what I wanted to have. So again, with the little trick that I learned, just to make sure nothing ruins the rings, or at least the rings last as long as they can without needing to be serviced. Since I do have things in here, I won't really flip through it, but I'll kind of show you just kind of like the inserts and things that I have right here. So kind of going back here, I even have like paper that I got from Amazon, just kind of this gold paper to jot down notes because I thought it was pretty and it matched. Flipping to the very back of the agenda, you'll see that there's one pocket right here, and then this kind of half open flap where it's not like a full flap, it's just kind of like a little insert actually. And then here is the full back of the agenda, and you can see it's just kind of one full canvas that runs this way. And what I really like is, I know canvas is, I know some people think canvas is overrated, but it's fairly durable, and I think it's really nice. If everything was kind of in a soft, delicate leather, it would be hard for me to buy into the accessories side of Louis Vuitton, because with accessories, travel accessories, and accessories like this, you're hands-on with it. You're touching it, you're moving it, you're opening it up. Oh my God, what was this? No, you're closing it like, oh, okay. I don't have a meeting when I thought I did. You have your key pouch, you're throwing it in your bag. If it was a bit more delicate, it would be, like I said, hard for me to want to spend the money. And I also am someone who appreciates and it maybe can be a little bit obsessed with things matching. So a lot of this ties into the fact that I like when things match a lot. So if I buy one thing and I really like it and it has a bigger set of something and I need a bigger set, or I would like a bigger set, it would be hard for me to go and then buy a bigger set from a different brand when the set that matches the one I have, if that makes sense. Matching is just, it's my Achilles heel, unfortunately. And then the next agenda I have is my desk agenda. And again, this is in Monogram, and I'm actually gonna flip it open so you can see the back to begin with. And again, it's one big piece of Monogram canvas just on the back. And then opening it up, if you can see, it looks like this. Because if you take out this middle part right here, which these rings, I believe I just got from Office Depot or Amazon. They're just metal gold rings. You can get them from pretty much anywhere. But opening up the actual agenda, this is how it comes. It's just, yes, it is basically, you build your own agenda in here. That's basically what it is. I've seen people use this as a book cover. I've seen them use it just like I have with an agenda. I've seen them use it for different things. You can even just get a notebook. You don't have to actually build an agenda in here. You can just get a notebook that fits I forgot the measurements on these, but I'll have everything linked down below as well. You can just get a notebook that fits the measurements and slide the back of the agenda or the notebook into here and just have it flip open and use. So you don't have to go and build an agenda like I did with the rings, but you can if you want to. This I was using as a budget agenda, hence this part. Just kind of like sliding it back in there. I don't have the front of the agenda in this front pocket just because I feel like it opens weird if I do. So I only have the back part and it allows me to use it like a desk agenda. I will say for the desk agenda, because it is very floppy, I wouldn't recommend this for on the go. It quite literally to me is a desk agenda. This is perfect for having on the counter at your desk when you need to flip open, read some material, write down some notes or material. You can if you wanted to, but it's not the most ideal for travel. If you want something ideal for travel that's larger, just go with the GM/larger ring agenda. It's just more secure. If you can see, I'm like moving it around and nothing is shaking from here, even though it is stuffed to the brim and I have things in the pockets. It's more secure. With the desk agenda, again, it's floppy. It's perfect for being at home. You can just leave it open and it lays completely flat. So it really is perfect, as they say, for a desk agenda. We're like halfway there. We're almost done. So the next thing I have is the Louis Vuitton GM Cosmetics pouch. I know they also come in I guess the regular size. I don't believe it has an MM in front of it or a PM. I think it's just cosmetics pouch, and then there's the GM. I have this in the Monogram print as well, and it's actually my longest standing travel toiletry bag out of the 3 that I have. This is basically my catch-all for my purses. I'm going to open it up and hope nothing spills out. So I pretty much have everything that I would need on the go. So a mini deodorant, a mini lotion. I have like a Tylenol pill box. I have some napkins and tissue in there, tampon, chapstick. So yeah, it's basically everything that I might need on the go in my purse. And because I am a big purse woman, this tends to fit in all the purses that I have except for one, which if I am carrying that one smaller bag, I don't need this. I'm usually just going to dinner and I just need like a chapstick, hand lotion, and maybe my phone. But yeah, so this I've had for I think a few years, maybe 2 years now. It's starting to patina right here, but not as much as maybe you would expect, just kind of on the ends. But that's the only piece of any area that would patina on this. The whole thing is basically canvas, and it's one long standing piece, but it flips on the back side. So if you can see, it's upside down on this side and then right side up on this side, and you know, just kind of like that. But the inner pockets, I don't think I showed you guys. It has one pocket here. It's actually the largest pocket right here. And then on the opposite side, it has a shorter pocket where my kind of nail clipper is. And then this little pocket for a chapstick or a lip gloss. This is just kind of perfect. It fits perfectly in my Neverfull MM, which I will show you guys here in a bit. And you can hear the pills in there. But yeah, I love this thing. It's beautiful on the counter. It's beautiful to have in a bag. And even though the shape, I will say, kind of, it makes it a little bit harder to have bulkier items in here. You ideally don't want to have too many bulky items in here just because then it gets heavy, especially if you're carrying this around in your purse. Trust me on that. And then the next travel bag I have is my Toiletry 26 in Monogram. It was on my wish list the same way the large ring agenda was for a very long time. I could just never bite the bullet when it was available in store near me, or if it was online, I just couldn't. And finally, I got it. I love this thing. This has been one of my favorite items in my collection. I use this Toiletry 26 as my travel toiletry bag, and it's a hot mess when you see it. It used to be a bit more organized, but it fits so much that even when it kind of jumbles around, I can still happily close it. But it basically has everything. I have, oh my gosh, even a mini sunscreen. I have lotion, a mini face wash. I have a mini shower gel. I even have, what are you, dry shampoo, which I barely use, but I even have a mini hairbrush in here, sunscreen. I have my travel toothbrush. It fits so much, and there's inner pockets in here. There's one long inner zipper, and I want to show you guys, even though this thing is very stuffed. There's one inner zipper, if you can see right there, and I kind of just have my like panty liners and things, and it does zip all the way. It's almost like a full width zipper. It's not super deep, but it's nice to have that separation in case there is kind of like things that you want to keep separate from the rest of everything, or just kind of zip away. And then on the opposite side, there's no zipper. It's just kind of like a flat back there, if you can see. But it just, I don't want anything to spill out, but it is such a big bag without being super huge. I mean, holding it up, yes, it's big, but it doesn't take up that much counter space where you feel like it's almost a burden on the counter. Like, okay, well, I can't put anything else on the counter when this is here. This I've traveled with quite a few times, and I took it on my most recent trip. Actually, I took all three of my travel toiletries with me on my most recent trip, and all three fit on the counter. I really love things like this, and I really love this just because it's so useful in my life that it's just perfect. You know when you just get something and it's the perfect fit for you? This is how I feel about this Toiletry 26. It's so silly, but the way it just kind of holds everything that I need for traveling. I mean, there's things in here that I really don't need for traveling, but it fits. And if I ever did need it, it's in there. So I just love it. And what's funny is I still have space in there for more if I wanted to, which I won't do because I have to stop being a crazy person when it comes to stuffing my items with just everything. But there's room if I wanted to add more. So this is the last travel toiletry bag I have, and it's actually the newest one in my collection. This is the Louis Vuitton Trousse 23. And this is actually my first ever pre-loved item. I got this from Fashion File. Again, I will link everything down below, and for the Fashion File one, I'll just link the page where there's other Trousse 23 so you guys can kind of choose. I was looking for a cosmetics pouch, and I did want it to match the rest of my kind of accessory pouches, my travel pouches. So I already decided that it was going to be a Louis Vuitton one. But none of the ones that they had on the website, just in store, caught my attention, caught my eye. Nothing just made me feel like, okay, this is going to be my new cosmetics pouch. I was considering buying the smaller of the GM cosmetics pouch, but I'm glad I didn't, because I was thinking I would just keep a few makeup items in here or in that bag, and the rest of my makeup I can just keep at home or switch them out depending on what I need. This Trousse 23 fits all of my makeup. I mean, all of my makeup. And it makes me so happy because I really was considering getting that smaller one, and I'm so glad I just waited, gave myself time to just keep looking around, and even considered vintage, because it just never popped in my head that buying pre-loved wasn't just for items that they had on their website that people bought and then are selling now. It could also mean vintage items that they just don't sell anymore. And I'm so glad I stumbled on this. And this was actually the first Trousse 23 I saw on their website in excellent condition, because I know they have giftable, new, excellent, very good, and I believe there's one below that I cannot remember. but this was the first one I saw of the ones that I was watching that came in excellent, and I bit the bullet. I bit the bullet. But let me show you guys what I have in here. It is probably a hot mess because I did do my makeup this morning. This is what my cosmetics bag is looking like. I don't want anything to fall out. Actually take out a few jiggly items so you guys can see better. So if you look into this bag, it has 3 little, say, straps right here. 1, 2, 3. And I keep my Merit bronzer and highlighter in this one. Then I keep my foundation and my concealer. And then here I keep my Merit foundation sticks here. And then on the back wall of this, there's one large pocket, if I can get it kind of open. And I actually just keep makeup remover wipes in there. But I have everything in here from powder, bronzer, another brow gel. So it fits all of my makeup. Granted, I will say I don't have a lot of multiples. And I know I mentioned that about the key pouch earlier, how I don't collect things in multiples of the same thing. I'm the same way with makeup typically. I won't have a lot of, like, I don't really use eyeshadow. I actually don't have an eyeshadow palette. If I want some coloring on my eyes, I'll just take my bronzer. So that's kind of a 2-in-1 right there. But I don't have a lot of multiples of things. I have like 1 powder bronzer, 1 cream bronzer, 1 cream blush, 1 powder brush. So I don't really do like 5 powder blushes, eyeshadows, multiple foundations. I usually just kind of pick 1 or 2 items of the same category that work for me and just kind of go with it. So that's why my makeup can fit in here. It's not like that I packed it any special kind of way. I just don't really have a crap ton of makeup. Even though this is a good amount of makeup, I know some people's collections of makeup would not fit in here. I just know for me this works when I travel. And again, I did take this with me on my last trip, and it was actually the first trip I got to travel with this since I got it, because I got this February and we're now in April. So I've been using this. It sits on my counter when I want to zhuzh up. It's just right there. My brushes do go in another pouch just because, honestly, if I'm traveling, it's easier to have the brushes in one separate pouch. And I haven't felt the need right now to buy a little pouch that is from Louis Vuitton for my brushes. It just goes in a random pouch that I have. If I wanted to, I could put it on the very top of here and close it up and then just travel like that. But for now, it just goes in another pouch and it works. And honestly, some of this makeup, especially the cream products, I don't really need a brush for. I could suffice with like a beauty blender or my fingers. So yeah, the final thing in my Louis Vuitton collection is one of the first items that I got and the biggest item in my collection. It is the Neverfull MM in Damier Ebene. I have used this bag for I think the last 3 years. I think I've had it about 3 years. I have used this bag for everything. I've used it for school, I've used it for work, I've used it for travel, still use it for all of these things, honestly. But it has seen better days, especially the straps, which I still need to get fixed. Do not ask me why. I haven't sent it in or even had a call to discuss sending it in. It's just been something that has not been at the forefront of my mind, but I love this bag and I love the red interior. It's a really gorgeous bag, and even though I am leaning more towards Monogram, I still very much love that I have this in Damier Ebene, and I don't believe I would change that. Even though I love Monogram, like I said, the cherry interior with the checker print is just beautiful. I just absolutely love this bag. It does come with this little pouch, which funny enough, I have seen people sell separately. I did not realize it was such a hot commodity on its own. But this is, I don't even believe there's a name for it, unless I'm mistaken, then please let me know. You open it up and it's the same exact color scheme inside, that cherry red. And it has a little pocket, little flat pocket back there. So this is perfect for just using as a clutch as well. You can grab this and use this, put your phone in here, maybe your wallet, lip gloss, chapstick, and just kind of go. It is fairly flat, so it will bulk up if you put anything in there that's a little bit bulky. But I mean, it works as just a little clutch. Inside of my bag, it's a bit dirty, honestly, but it's a really nice size. Of course, I think if I were to get another Neverfull, I would definitely get the GM size, and I'd probably do Monogram just because I already have Damier Ebene. But I am a big bag girl, so the PM was out of the question for me when I was looking for a Neverfull. I needed space, and this is the perfect size for day-to-day running errands. Even just having this as a regular purse that you use if you want to go out to dinner with this. I mean, I think it's a really nice bag. I think because it's a classic, I know sometimes classics can lean overrated, or, you know, everyone has it, but who cares? Who cares if everyone has something if you want it? I mean, that's kind of with everything. That shouldn't stop you from getting it, if that makes sense. So I know that some people say that, you know, the Neverfull is, I don't know, overrated, or I don't even know how else, but it's just, what isn't these days, right? What isn't an overrated something? But I love my Neverfull. I do want to get it fixed. It's just I use it so much that sending it away for a few months, I'm always just like, oh, but what if I need it? Even though I could probably just use another bag, I am just who I am. But yeah, this is it. I mean, this is the bag. On the inside of this bag is one zip pocket. So you can have really anything in there if you want. You can have your phone, keys, anything, and just zip it up for security. And even just a little bit of security. It's not gonna, you know, save your bag if someone puts their hand in there, but it does lock at the top like this, which I think is really nice, even with travel, because what I'll typically do is I'll have like a jacket or sweater just over my bag, and then I will just clip it so that the jacket's on the inside part. So if someone did want to reach in my bag, it would be such an awkward few seconds that I would know, they would know that I know, and now they're just awkwardly trying to steal in a very public place with the person they're trying to steal from staring at them. So yeah, but you know, this is my Neverfull, and like I said, this bag is just perfect for everything. That is everything in my Louis Vuitton collection 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and hanging out with me and just listening to me ramble about Louis Vuitton and, you know, my kind of affinity for them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and also leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite piece is, or something that's on your wish list, or what other brands are you loving right now, and what are those things that you're wanting to kind of like save up for or get in the future. But yeah, if you want to stick around, I also do vlog and do a bunch of other videos. If you just kind of want sit down videos, leave some comments and tell me what you would love to see from me, and I'll get to filming those. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Bye!